So taking you now to Italy, where the biggest, most powerful mafia group you may never have heard of is based. The crime syndicate has a global reach, but can operate from the humblest hideouts. This Sunday, streaming on Paramount Plus, 60 Minutes Plus correspondent Seth Doane takes us to some of their hideouts.
These guys are all members of the Carabinieri, which is a special hybrid military police force here in Italy. Within that, they're part of an even more specially trained elite force called the cacciatori. Cacciatori in Italian literally means the hunters.
We were heading to where they'd captured one Ndrangheta member who'd been hiding out for 2 years. He was wanted for helping 2 mafia bosses escape. As we cut through the thick brush, Derico explained how they look for anything that might stand out.
So this is the pipeline.
Wow. He had this pipe going from the river.
Yeah, from the river that goes down from the mountain.
We'd finally reached the hideout.
And tell me, where is it?
We're here, but you can't see anything.
Covered in earth, it blended into the side of the mountain.
And you can see he went to the extent of bringing out furniture. There's a little cabinet there, a sink.
Derico's team showed us these pictures of how they'd found the place. The Ndrangheta member had been captured at dawn while making his morning coffee.
We were out there in the forest with the cacciatori unit, with the Carabinieri, looking at these mafia hideouts. They're not, in some cases, living like rich, powerful people.
This is another characteristic of the Ndrangheta. If you go in Calabria, you don't see places that show the wealthy of a mobster. Once I asked to a former mobster, how can you live that kind of life underground? And the answer was, yes, I was living like a mouse, like a rat, but I was capable to appoint the person of power in an important position. Money comes and goes, but power, it's the ultimate goal.
All right, so Seth Doane is joining us now to dig deeper into this from Rome. Seth, let's start with that last clip right there where he says power is the ultimate goal. Yes, clearly these are not luxury digs, but power from a place like that, I would think you would need at least some form of communication. Where were you?
We were out in the, I was smiling, by the way, you can't see under the mask, but it was fascinating to kind of get in there, Anne-Marie, and see these hideouts. We were walking, and as you saw in that clip, I couldn't even tell where this guy had been hiding, but in fact, he had a solar panel, he had electricity, he had that water running from that stream through that pipe. He had been living out there for a couple of years, and we were out with these guys who, there were about 100 of them operating in Calabria. This is where the Ndrangheta is based, the southern Italian region of Calabria. And these guys know this mountain, and they find out that they often do not get many tips. People do not want to talk. The Ndrangheta, this mafia, has a lot of grassroots support because in some cases, they're stepping in where the government is absent, and they're doing everything from helping someone get a doctor's appointment to pushing them to buy fruit or vegetables for a certain place. So they are, this Ndrangheta is throughout this entire region, and often if an Ndrangheta member is on the run trying to hide from police, they will not leave Calabria. They will decide to stay there and use their knowledge of the land to hide. Now, they are, in some cases, sending out other people. You have the Ndrangheta, we were told by Antonio Nicaso, who you saw in that piece, our kind of expert, our academic. He said, the Ndrangheta is sending younger members off to Ivy League universities to learn to develop this business. So it is a vast empire that they are running from these very unusual, surprising hideouts.
So when you say vast, I mean, these days organized crime can be global, you know, very easily. Just so how big are they and how powerful are they?
They are big and powerful. We profile in this piece an incredible anti-mafia prosecutor named Nicola Gratteri, who told us he believes that they are the most powerful mafia in the world. We go inside with him and see his efforts. He is putting himself at risk in fighting this mafia. To give you an idea, the estimated annual revenue of this organization is upwards of over $50 billion. So you'd imagine the annual revenue of a Starbucks, of a McDonald's combined. And they made a very interesting move in the 1980s. Interesting if you're in organized crime. They took the money that they had made from kidnappings and they started investing it and working in building relationships with Mexican and South American drug cartels. And now the Ndrangheta, it's estimated, controls between 50 and 80% of the cocaine trade in Europe. We were inside one of the ports, Gioia Tauro, and we were in this room where they were storing, the law enforcement was storing the cocaine that has been seized in recent busts. We were in one room that had 7 tons of cocaine. That has a street value, once it's cut and sold and resold, of more than $1 billion.
You know, we have talked a lot about the impact of the pandemic around the world. It's touched every business. I presume it's touched organized crime as well. But it's striking me that perhaps a mafia organization like this that can operate from such rural areas would be perfectly poised to flourish during a pandemic. Do you know if the coronavirus has impacted operations?
We had that same question. We asked Nicola Guerrieri, the anti-mafia prosecutor who's overseeing this massive anti-mafia trial right now. So what is the effect of the pandemic? Is it making them stronger? And his answer was, it is making them richer. They have gone in and they have bought failing businesses, whether restaurants or hotels. In some cases, they've gone in and acted as sort of local banks. If you're struggling and you're running some mom and pop business or hotel and you need a little loan, well, the Ndrangheta is there. So they're, in essence, kind of currying favor. Nicola Guerrieri, that anti-mafia prosecutor, was telling me, in some ways, the relationship has really changed. He's seen it evolve in the most recent years that he's been fighting these guys. And he says that they're actually going in some cases, and they're more present than politicians. He says, you know, politician comes to run for office and they might be on the ground with people for the few weeks around the election, and then the politician goes away. The Ndrangheta stays, and if you need a doctor's appointment but you can't get in at the local hospital, who's going to help you? Well, your local mafia clan leader can help you get an appointment, and it might be just a little thing, but they're slowly currying favor. And that's one of the reasons, going back to the beginning of that those hideouts, it's very hard for them to find these guys in hiding because they do really enjoy grassroots support.
Really fascinating stuff, Seth. Thank you so much.